So welcome everybody. Today I'm actually speaking with Sergey, who I like to call Sergio, like I said before, because he's in Spain. But he has, in a previous video, which you can see over here, he and his wife Ala moved from Toronto, Canada to Spain and the Malaga region in the southern Costa del Sol. And oops, the lights just turned off. Yep. There we go. In the Costa del Sol, and they specialize in helping North Americans, Canadians, and Americans move to Spain, find property, and a lot more stuff. Because today, I asked Sergey if we can also talk about other things, for example, like Golden Visa and NIE, I think it's called, like all different topics. And today we're going to tackle the Golden Visa, and Sergey is going to tell us all about it. Sergey, you know what? I don't know even what questions to ask, so I'll just let you get started. Tell us a little bit about what is this Golden Visa, and I heard rumors that maybe it's not going to be available. Can you start with that?
Okay, first of all, legal disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, right? So I
love it.
highly recommend, I'll share everything I know about it. We are real estate specialists, but we've been dealing with all kind of different visas for like when we considered which one to use for us to come over, and obviously with our clients. So I know quite a bit about Golden Visa as well. But whatever, strongly recommend get a professional legal advice.
Okay, so are you saying that you actually got the Golden Visa for yourself? Is that the visa that you
We
get?
got for ourselves, we got non-lucrative visa.
Non-lucrative. Okay, so that's another topic for another episode. Today we're going to do the Golden Visa.
Today let's because Golden Visa, obviously probably many people heard about it. And yes, there's been lots of speculations about Spanish government canceling it. What we know so far, what we know for sure is that in April, May of this year, Prime Minister made an announcement that they will end the Golden Visa. Not necessarily Golden Visa, because Golden Visa consists of a few different investment options. So what they plan to do, as they say, they wanna end the real estate portion of Golden Visa, or at least modify it.
Okay.
That's the announcement which was made. So far, it still has to go through the parliament, through all the debates and everything. So no one knows for sure. It might get, approved. Maybe they'll just modify it. Maybe they'll completely cancel it. We don't know yet.
Okay, so that's a good analysis, because I did read a little bit about the Golden Visa, and you're right, the real estate portion, there's one, but I'm reading some of my notes.
It's just a portion of it, exactly. That's the cheapest option, and by far most popular, because statistics shows more than 90% of Golden Visas issued in Spain, they were issued on that real estate part.
Okay,
Because
so
it requires the minimum amount of capital, it's 500,000 euros of your capital, whereas other option would be either 2 million euros invested in Spanish public debt, or 1 million invested in Spanish companies, in the shares of Spanish companies, or 1 million invested in just a simple bank deposit in Spanish bank. So obviously, real estate option at the moment is the cheapest and makes most sense for most of the people.
Okay, so thanks for clarifying for that. And knowing that you're not a lawyer and providing legal advice, do you know, like, okay, the Golden Visa at half a million euros in property, what does that give you actually? Like, does that give you residency, citizenship? Do you know what all this does?
Yeah, I have all those answers. Let's elaborate a little bit on 500,000.
Okay.
So that amount, it can be commercial real estate, it could be residential real estate, it could be couple of real estate objects combined. So it doesn't have to be one or whatever, like one piece of real estate. Also, you can get mortgage as well. as long as your part of your own money is more than 500,000. So what I mean, a person can buy 1 million euros villa, use 500,000 of own money, get 500,000 mortgage, and still qualify. It would still qualify them to get a golden visa.
So as long as you have €500,000 of your own
Half a
money,
million of your own money, yes.
Right.
The rest you can get mortgage or whatever.
okay,
And as I said, it could be few properties combined as long as the portion of your own money exceeds 500,000.
okay. And
So
is it any restriction where in Spain or anywhere in Spain? You can use it anywhere.
anywhere in Spain. That could be another modification because there is a chance at the moment, most of those golden visas, they've been wishes based on the real estate bought in the popular areas as Madrid, Barcelona, Malaga,
Mhm.
Valencia. There is a chance they're just gonna say no popular areas. Let's put it this way, more kind of economically struggle, because obviously main reason of ever providing this visa is to get more investment, and boost economy. So there is a chance they'll modify the real estate portion, saying, no buying real estate in the popular areas, go somewhere, invest in rural areas.
Okay,
That's one speculation. At the moment, there's no restriction. It could be anywhere in Spain.
okay. What else should we know?
So going back to your questions, what it gives now, it gives a residency, temporary residency. First time after applying, it's a 1-year visa. Then it's reapplication process, which is very straightforward and simple, gives another 2 years of temporary residency. Then 2 more years of temporary residency. So after 5 years, person can apply for a permanent residency.
Okay,
It's not, and after 10 years of the program, a person can actually apply for Spanish citizenship if they
Okay.
wish.
let's
But then
stop right there. Let me just make sure that I understand it and the listeners understand it. So residency is not citizenship. It simply means you're allowed to be in
you're
Spain.
allowed to live here, you're allowed to work here, you're
Oh.
allowed to study here. Yes, absolutely. And one of the biggest advantages of golden visas, there is no time restriction, which means like different types of visas, like majority of other visas, there's minimum period of time which you have to spend here in Spain in order to keep that visa. With the golden visa, it's only 7 days a year.
You have to be there 7 days a year. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
And you're allowed to work. They allow you to work as well.
You're allowed to work, obviously, if you wish to. Yes.
Okay. I guess most people that are doing it, from your opinion or experience, are they're doing it to retire and they want to have a property there, or they just want to travel back and forth. What is it for usually?
Well, probably the biggest advantage, again, you can be resident here, you can live here as little as you want without losing it, because let's say if you compare it to non-lucrative visa, you have to spend at least six months, more than 6 months a year you have to spend here, which makes you Spanish tax resident, which is a totally different ballgame.
Okay.
Right?
So if I'm coming from Canada and I do this golden visa with €500,000, then I can buy a property there with that minimum amount, and then I can spend a month there, and then I can come back to Canada, as long as I don't spend.
You can spend, being Canadian, you can spend up to 3 months here without any visa. But with the golden visa, let's say you can spend 4 or 5 months, which still does not make you a Spanish tax resident,
Right.
which gives you lots of
As long as you're back before that 183 days kind of idea, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest advantages of golden visa. You can regulate the length of your stay in Spain here.
Right. So you're not paying taxes in Spain or anything like that. Unless you're staying over 183 days, then you may have to talk with a tax accountant to figure out what to do there.
If you choose to, but at least it gives you lots of flexibility in that.
Okay. Do you know this answer? I read here also that if you have the golden visa, You're also allowed to travel freely through Europe in the Schengen zone.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
are you allowed to stay somewhere else longer or no? It's just in Spain you can stay longer.
No, well, you get it in Spain. You can like, again, being Canadian with Canadian passport, up to 90 days anywhere in Schengen zone.
Gotcha.
But not exceed, you can only exceed those 90 days in Spain.
Okay. And after 10 years, if you continue doing this, you can apply for citizenship.
After 5
If it
years,
makes
you can
sense.
apply for permanent residency. After 10, you can apply for.
And what's permanent residency? That just means you don't have to keep on reapplying anymore. You're a permanent
Exactly.
resident. Okay.
That's pretty much all the same, but you don't have to reapply every 2 years. You
Okay.
get it 5 years after that.
Is it expensive to do all this, the paperwork and everything?
It's not, well, it depends. It's not expensive. Well, everything is related, right? It's couple
Yeah.
$1,000, depends which lawyer you use. And reapplying is, as I said, the process itself is pretty straightforward. You don't need many documents, right? You need to prove of your investment. If
Yeah.
it's a real estate, you need the deeds on your name. You need to prove, you need to provide, obviously show the source of funds. You need to provide clear criminal records, medical insurance, medical certificate, and it's about it.
And do you do this all from Canada or do you do it in Spain?
You need it, now we're talking about Canadians from Canada, from your country of residence,
Yeah,
from where
yeah.
you're finding. Yes. In this case, it would be Canada.
So I'm going to the Spanish consulate in Toronto or something like that, and I'm doing it there, or can I also do
Yes,
it in Spain?
yes.
Can I come to Spain, visit you?
No, you do it from abroad. In our case, it would be
Okay.
Canada.
Okay, gotcha.
Also need to provide proofs that you have enough money, not only to invest or buy property or whatever, but to support yourself, which is
Oh,
about,
okay.
for
So,
the first year, you need to show about 27,000 euros for the first applicant and about 7,000, let's round it to 7,000. It's a little bit less than that for
okay.
each additional applicant. Because not only the main applicant gets the visa, but spouse and dependent children, and in some cases, even dependent parents.
Okay. So let's go back and step by step. So I'm in Canada. We'll use me as an example. Let's say I want to get this golden visa. I have to have a police record check. So I go to the police and start that process. I go to my medical doctor and say what I need a physical or I need some sort of certificate to show my health.
The certificate normally to show, because there's been in 2005, the World Health Organization, they issued a list of highly contagious diseases.
Okay.
So basically, a person needs a medical certificate which shows that that particular person does not have any of those diseases.
Okay.
But
And
it's
then
not a normal physical check.
And then how did you do it? Did you go to the Spanish consulate website and see what list and go just make an appointment, or what's the next step?
I think that step number one, find a legal professional. That's what we did. That's what I recommend to everyone.
Okay.
Even many people, like with, I've heard with non-lucrative visa, many people do it themselves.
Okay. So you found someone in your origin city?
No. We found a person here in Spain where we were here on our visits. We
Okay.
found a consultant, a person who helps with all kinds of visas.
So how does that work? I'm getting confused. So if I'm in Canada and I start the process here with the Spanish consulate, how can a person in Spain help me with the process?
The person in Spain, they know exactly what's required.
Okay.
He's been doing it for many years. He'll be able to, because like
walk you through.
Yes, he'll be able to walk you through it. He'll be able to fill out all the applications on your behalf.
Okay.
And sometimes, like what we did, it was, okay, I wouldn't say it's cheaper because we had to come here anyways. But many of, let's say, criminal record check, it has to be certified, like what's the name of it?
It has to be, does it have to be translated into Spanish?
It has to be translated and it has to be apostilled in Canada. Otherwise, they wouldn't recognize it in Spanish consulate or in Spain. And 2 years ago, when we were doing it, it was a long and expensive process. I believe it's a little bit easier now because they've done some
Okay.
changes in the process, but it's still. So what I mean is, in our case, it kind of made sense for us because we were coming here. We brought our documents here
Mhm,
to
mhm.
Spain, got them translated and apostilled here.
Okay, so
So-
you can do that, but then you still have to
Yeah.
take that back to Canada to submit it in the Spanish consulate in Canada?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
but I mean, it was at that time, it was almost 2 months because even like being in Toronto, let's say, you have to ship all those documents to Global Affairs Canada in Ottawa, and
Yeah.
it takes
Gotcha.
5 working weeks and about 200 Canadian dollars per each document.
Oh, wow.
So it was expensive and a lengthy process.
Right, so there's a couple of options. If you have the opportunity and you're in Spain,
Yeah,
you can go
flight
there
is
and
very
do it
done here.
there and bring the back documents back with you and take it to the consulate, and that's fun. Or if you don't have the opportunity to fly to Spain, then pay the price and send it to Ottawa, pay all the fees and right. Okay.
I think as what I heard, it's that process got simplified. So there's a company in Toronto which helps with all that process too.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. There's so much to unpack. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight is that I wasn't aware. So not only do you have to have enough money to buy a property, but you also have to show enough income
Yeah,
of
you need, obviously you need to show Spanish government. You're not gonna come here, I don't know, and because there's no guarantee a person would come here next day will find a job, right? So they need to show
Right.
sufficient funds to support themselves for a certain period of time.
Okay. So this doesn't give you like any access to like the health care in Spain. You still have to have your own private insurance and all that stuff if you're going to
You
stay
need
there,
to
right?
have your own private health insurance, yes.
Okay. So um it's an expensive way to get there, I guess. One of the more expensive ways to get there, but a lot of people are still doing it, right?
Well, a lot of people are buying real estate even without ever applying for golden visa, right? You need a place to stay
Oh,
anyways.
actually, that's the question I had that I forgot. So you also said you had to show that you had a property you're buying, right?
Yes. So it would
So,
not work with pre-construction, no.
so is that where a company like yours comes in, where, for example, I've got all my paperwork except for I don't have a property. So,
Well, I would recommend starting with the property because all the paperwork, right? All the criminal checks and medical health, they all expire, I think, like within 2 months, 3 months, it depends.
okay,
So I
so
would definitely recommend starting with the property.
let
Yeah.
me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Forget about the gold. So I can actually still buy a property in Spain even without a golden visa. As a foreigner, I can come to Spain and buy a property.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can.
And then I'm allowed 3 months to stay in Spain as a Canadian.
Yes.
Okay. So now I've got the property, I've done the investment. Now that I've got it, I go, okay, I want to live longer. I want to have residency in Spain. So now my option is if I want to stay longer than the 3 months, I have to apply for the golden visa
Or non-lucrative visa.
or non-lucrative. Okay, that makes sense because in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll go for the golden visa and then I'll buy a property. But you're right. You can buy, I didn't know you could buy the property first. You can even
Yes.
get a mortgage in Spain, correct? Even if you're not a resident there.
Absolutely. You don't have to be resident here. You don't have to be citizen here. Based on your Canadian income and everything, like pretty much same requirements as in Canada to get a mortgage. But yeah, you can definitely get mortgage in a Spanish bank
Okay.
to help you with buying property here.
Okay, this is really good. Great information. Let me take a look at my notes. And while I'm
Keep in
looking,
mind, interest rates are lower here than in Canada, which in
okay,
other.
okay. Well, currently, when this video is made, we don't know all the
Yes, absolutely.
time.
But
All right.
historically, they prove to be a bit lower than in Canada.
All right. Let me see if I have any other questions. So we've gone over eligibility. Um, So you said you can't get a what kind of property you're not allowed to buy? Like one of those, it has to be already built.
Doesn't make like it wouldn't work with pre-construction property because property has to be on your name at the time of application, right?
Okay. For your specific situation, how long was the timeline? Did it take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to get the golden visa?
For non-lucrative, it took us about 1 month.
Oh, that's
less-
right. You didn't do the golden visa.
Less a month, but with golden visa, it's actually usually it's faster.
Okay.
They make a decision like in less than a month. If everything is okay with the paperwork, less than a month, people normally get the approval.
Okay. All right. I think we covered quite a lot. We covered about the fact that the taxation is not in effect unless you stay there longer than the 183 days. It's for family and dependents, potentially even parents. Okay. Yeah, I think we covered almost everything. Do you know okay, they're talking of changing it, right? So we don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to make any guesses or anything like that.
I'm pretty sure
But-
nobody knows what's going to happen.
Do you think there's any risk, like if someone were to go through this process now and they change it, maybe this is a question I can't even expect you to answer. I'm hoping that if I were to start this process for myself, for example, that if I'm in the system already, they would use the old rules and not put any new rules. But any thoughts on that?
They accepting applications now. Who knows that, right? And so the sooner person starts the process, but
better.
it takes about, even between
Okay.
finding a property and registering everything, buying it, it's about 2-3
Oh.
months.
Here's a question that came up for me. It has to be in my name, but can I rent it out if I'm not there?
Absolutely.
So can I have more than one property, like 2 properties of 250 each that total $500,000?
Yes, you can have 5 properties, 100,000 each, and
Okay.
it will still work as long as combined value, not combined value, but combined like a amount of money of your personal money invested. Let's
Right.
say buying equity, your equity in the house, not like equity is not the right. Your actual money invested in those properties exceed 500,000.
Okay, that's good.
That it doesn't have to be residential. It could be invested in commercial as well.
It can be converted in commercial.
And rented out, and it would still be a ground for applying for golden visa. Yes.
So if there's any listeners out there that are dreaming of opening their own Spanish tapas bar and they find a bar that's for sale, they can do this
Yep, absolutely.
as long as it's worth €500,000. Or they can buy their Spanish tapas bar and buy the house down the road from it.
House, sure, and combined value.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, that's great. Have I forgotten to ask anything that's you want to say else about?
Advantages, we talk about advantages, documents, updates. Well, there's been lots of speculations, Many people say they'll end it by the end of the year. They'll
Mhm.
stop.
And this is being recorded right now in September.
September of 2024, yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody knows.
Okay. So we'll leave it at that then. A lot of good information. And I encourage anybody who's watching this, if they have any questions, that they can put it in the comments. We'll look at it. Or if you want to get in touch with Sergey, we'll have the email there as well. Not that he's the lawyer, but if you have additional, is that okay? Can I send them?
I can put you in a contact with the professionals and let you deal with that. That's interesting.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope we're going to see more of you or your Enso Team Realty in future episodes talking about how to move from North America to Spain. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir.